and welcome to Little Learners. In today's video I'm going to be looking at the changes the government have made to the Early Years Foundation Stage framework. I've made two videos about the reforms that the government have made. So I made one when the consultation period about the reforms was open and we went through all the questions, and I also made another one about the government's response to the feedback they got from people filling out that survey for consultation. Now the government have released the reformed EYFS for any schools or childcare providers that want to adopt this early, because it's not actually going to be statutory until 2021. So I thought it would be good to kind of compare the current EYFS with the new EYFS. So what we're going to do is take a look at each goal and compare the current with the new. This way we can have a look at how things have really changed and see what has been added and what might have been taken away. Before we get started, don't forget to click that like button if you find the video helpful or interesting, as it really helps out the channel. Let's look at the prime areas first. Communication and language. So the current goal for listening and attention states, children listen attentively in a range of situations. They listen to stories, accurately anticipating key events, and respond to what they hear with relevant comments, questions, or actions. They give their attention to what others say and respond appropriately while engaged in another activity. Then we have the understanding goal, and we'll see in a moment why it's important to look at these two goals together. The current goal for understanding states, children follow instructions involving several ideas or actions. They answer how and why questions about their experiences and in response to stories or events. The new reformed goal is called listening, attention and understanding, so it combines both of the current goals for listening and attention and understanding. The new goal states, children of the expected level will listen attentively and respond to what they hear with relevant questions, comments and actions when being read to and during whole class discussions and small group interactions. Make comments about what they have heard and ask questions to clarify their understanding. Hold conversation when engaged in back and forth exchanges with their teacher and peers. The current goal for speaking states, children express themselves effectively, showing awareness of the listener's needs. They use past, present and future forms accurately when talking about events that have happened or are to happen in the future. They develop their own narratives and explanations by connecting ideas or events. The reformed goal for speaking states, children at the expected level will participate in small group, class and one-to-one discussions, offering their own ideas using recently introduced vocabulary, offer explanations for why things might happen, making use of recently introduced vocabulary from stories, non-fiction, rhymes and poems when appropriate, express their ideas and feelings about their experiences using full sentences, including use of past, present and future tenses, and making use of conjunctions with modelling and support from their teacher. Now we move on to personal, social and emotional development. The current goal for managing feelings and behaviour states, children talk about how they and others show feelings, talk about their own and others' behaviour and its consequences, and know that some behaviour is unacceptable. They work as part of a group or class and understand and follow the rules. They adjust their behaviour to different situations and take changes of routine in their stride. This comes under the new reformed goal called self-regulation. Children of the expected level will show an understanding of their own feelings and those of others and begin to regulate their behaviour accordingly, set and work towards simple goals, being able to wait for what they want and control their immediate impulses when appropriate. Give focused attention to what the teacher says, responding appropriately even when engaged in activity, and show an ability to follow instructions involving several ideas or actions. The current goal for self-confidence and self-awareness states, children are confident to try new activities and say why they like some activities more than others. They are confident to speak in a familiar group, will talk about their ideas and will choose resources they need for their chosen activities. They say why they do or don't need help. This comes under the new goal, managing self. Children of the expected level will Be confident to try new activities and show independence, resilience and perseverance in the face of challenge. Explain the reasons for rules, know right from wrong, and try to behave accordingly. Manage their own basic hygiene and personal needs, including dressing, going to the toilet, and understanding the importance of healthy food choices. So here we can see the goal of health and self-care, which currently lies under the area of physical development, is within this goal in personal, social and emotional development. Moving on to the current goal of making relationships. It states children play cooperatively, taking turns with others. They take account of one another's ideas about how to organise their activity. They show sensitivity to others' needs and feelings and form positive relationships with adults and other children. The new goal is called building relationships. It states children of the expected level will work and play cooperatively and take turns with others, form positive attachments to adults and friendships with peers, show sensitivity to their own and others' needs. Now we move on to our final prime area, physical development. The current goal for moving and handling states children show good control and coordination in large and small movements. They move confidently in a range of ways, safely negotiating space. They handle equipment and tools effectively, including pencils for writing. This has been separated out into gross motor and fine motor goals. For the new gross motor goal, it states children of the expected level will negotiate space and obstacles safely with consideration for themselves and others, demonstrate strength, balance and coordination when playing, move energetically such as running, jumping, dancing, hopping, skipping and climbing. The fine motor goal states children at the expected level will hold a pencil effectively in preparation for fluent writing, using the tripod grip in almost all cases, use a range of small tools, including scissors, paintbrushes and cutlery, begin to show accuracy and care when drawing. The decision to include the requirement for the tripod grip has been quite controversial, so do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Under the current framework, we also have a goal called health and self-care. It states, children know the importance for good health of physical exercise and a healthy diet and talk about ways to keep healthy and safe. They manage their own basic hygiene and personal needs successfully, including dressing and going to the toilet independently. Under the new reformed framework, this now comes under the managing self goal, which is in personal, social and emotional development. We looked at this earlier in the video. Now let's move on to the specific areas. Literacy. The current goal for reading states, children read and understand simple sentences. They use phonic knowledge to decode regular words and read them aloud accurately. They also read some common irregular words. They demonstrate understanding when talking with others about what they have read. Under the new reformed framework, there are two goals for reading, word reading and comprehension. The new goal, word reading, states, children at the expected level of development will say a sound for each letter in the alphabet and at least 10 digraphs, read words consistent with their phonic knowledge by sound blending, read aloud simple sentences and books that are consistent with their phonic knowledge, including some common exception words. For the comprehension goal, children at the expected level will demonstrate understanding of what has been read to them by retelling stories and narratives using their own words and recently introduced vocabulary, anticipate, where appropriate, key events in stories, use and understand recently introduced vocabulary during discussions about stories, non-fiction, rhymes and poems, and during role play. The current goal for writing states, children use their phonic knowledge to write words in ways which match their spoken sounds. They also write some irregular common words. They write simple sentences which can be read by themselves and others. Some words are spelt correctly and others are phonetically plausible. The new reformed goal for writing states, children at the expected level will write recognisable letters, most of which are correctly formed, spell words by identifying sounds in them and representing the sounds with a letter or letters, write simple phrases and sentences that can be read by others. Next we have mathematics. The current goal for number states, children count reliably with numbers from 1 to 20, place them in order and say which number is one more or one less than a given number. Using quantities and objects, they add and subtract two single-digit numbers and count on or back to find the answer. They solve problems, including doubling, halving, and sharing. Under the new reformed framework, there are two goals here: number and numerical patterns. For the number goal, children of the expected level will have a deep understanding of number to 10, including the composition of each number. Subbatize, recognise quantities without counting, up to 5, automatically recall, without reference to rhymes, counting or other aids, number bonds up to 5, including subtraction facts, and some number bonds to 10, including double facts. For the new goal, called numerical patterns, children at the expected level will verbally count beyond 20, recognising the pattern of the counting system, compare quantities up to 10 in different contexts, recognising when one quantity is greater than, less than, or the same as the other quantity, explore and represent patterns within numbers up to 10, including evens and odds, double facts, and how quantities can be distributed equally. Under the current framework, we also have a goal called shape, space, and measure. This states children use everyday language to talk about size, weight, capacity, position, distance, time, and money, to compare quantities and objects, and to solve problems. They recognise, create, and describe patterns. They explore characteristics of everyday objects and shapes and use mathematical language to describe them. Under the new reformed framework, there is no shape, space, and measure goal. Unlike the previous goal we saw, which had been moved from one area to another, this shape, space, and measure goal simply does not exist. Do let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. This again has been an extremely controversial decision. Next, we move on to understanding the world. The current goal, called people and communities, states children talk about past and present events in their own lives and in the lives of family members. They know that other children don't always enjoy the same things and are sensitive to this. They know about similarities and differences between themselves and others, and among families, communities, and traditions. The new goal is called People, Culture and Communities. It states children at the expected level will describe their immediate environment using knowledge from observation, discussion, stories, non-fiction texts, and maps. Know some similarities and differences between different religious and cultural communities in this country, drawing on their experiences and what has been read in class. Explain some similarities and differences between life in this country and life in other countries, drawing on knowledge from stories, non-fiction texts, and, when appropriate, maps. The current goal, called The World, states children know about similarities and differences in relation to places, objects, materials, and living things. They talk about the features of their own immediate environment and how environments might vary from one another. They make observations of animals and plants and explain why some things occur and talk about changes. The new goal is called The Natural World. It states children at the expected level will explore the natural world around them, making observations and drawing pictures of animals and plants, know some similarities and differences between the natural world around them and contrasting environments, drawing on their experiences and what has been read in class. Understand some important processes and changes in the natural world around them, including the seasons and changing states of matter. Under the current framework, we also have a goal for technology. This states children recognise that a range of technology is used in places such as homes and schools. They select and use technology for particular purposes. Under the new framework, there is no technology goal. This has not been moved to another area. Again, this simply does not exist. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below, as again, this has been quite controversial. And finally, our last specific area is expressive arts and design. The current goal of exploring and using media and materials states children sing songs, make music and dance, and experiment with ways of changing them. They safely use and explore a variety of materials, tools and techniques, experimenting with colour, design, texture, form and function. The new goal, called Creating with Materials, states children at the expected level will safely use and explore a variety of materials, tools and techniques, experimenting with colour, design, texture, form and function. Share their creations, explaining the process they have used. Make use of props and materials when role-playing characters in narratives and stories. We then have the current goal of being imaginative. It states children use what they have learnt about media and materials in original ways, thinking about uses and purposes. They represent their own ideas, thoughts and feelings through design and technology, art, music, dance, role-play and stories. The new goal is called Being Imaginative and Expressive. It states, children at the expected level will invent, adapt and recount narratives and stories with peers and their teacher, sing a range of well-known nursery rhymes and songs, perform songs, rhymes, poems and stories with others, and, when appropriate, try to move to music. Okay, so that concludes our comparison of the current EYFS and the new reformed EYFS. Do let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. I'd really love to know what you're thinking. There has been some mixed, I would say probably mostly negative views about the new goals that I have seen across social media and on other teaching websites, so I'd be really interested to know. If you found this video interesting, please do give it a like as it really helps out the channel, and don't forget to click that subscribe button so that you can see more Little Learners videos in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.